ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। चैतन्यं सर्वगं सर्वं सर्वभूतगुहाशयम् यत्सर्वविषयातीतं तस्मै सर्वविदे नमः। Achakshushtva Prakaranam, that Atma is as said in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Arasam Agandham Achakshushkam Ashrutram Avag Amanah, devoid of all organs of perception, organs of action, Antahkaranam. Achakshushtvat name drishti. Since I am devoid of chakshu, there is no seeing for me. Since I am devoid of ashrotrasya, since I am devoid of organ of hearing, there is no hearing. There is no seeing in Atma. I do not see. I do not hear. Avaktva natu vaktihi. Because I am devoid of vag or organ of speech, there is no speaking. Amanastvad matih kutah. Since I have no mind, how can there be thinking? Apranasana karma asti. I am devoid of prana, therefore there is no karma. Prana is responsible for all actions, for all motion, movement, dynamism. Buddhi abhavena vedita. Since I am devoid of buddhi, I am the knower. Vidya vidye tato nastha. The ignorance, knowledge and ignorance and buddhi, therefore knowledge and ignorance also do not belong to me. Or I am devoid of even the idea of a knower or ignorant. I am neither knower nor ignorant. Who am I? Chinmatra jyotisho mama. I who is Chinmatra jyotihi. Pure awareness, illumine everything, only further clarified. Therefore, in I there is no speaking, no hearing, no thinking, no talking, no walking, no ignorance, no knowledge. Nitya muktasya shuddhasya kutasasya avicharinaha. I who is nitya mukta, ever free, shuddha, ever pure, kutasasya, changeless, avicharinaha, devoid of chalanam, devoid of movement, devoid of motion, devoid of change. Amrutasya, one who is Amrit, immortal. Aksharasya, devoid of ksharanam, or devoid of any decay. Why is this so? Asharirasya sarvada. Because I am Chinmatra Jyotihi, therefore there is no seeing, hearing, thinking. Since I am Asharira, therefore there is no Asharirasya, therefore I am Nitya Mukta, Shuddha, Kutastha, Avichalina. Jigatsava, Pipasava, Shokamoho, Jaramruti. Navidyante Ashariratvad, again Ashariratvad, because I am bodiless, devoid of body. So Jigatsa, the hunger, is the attribute of prana. I am aprana, devoid of prana. Pipasa also belongs to prana. Shokamohu, grief and delusion belong to mind. Jara, old age and death belong to the body. I am devoid of body, devoid of prana, devoid of mind. Therefore, the 6 waves of samsara, I transcend them. Asana vipase jara mrityum, shokamohu jara mrityum atyeti. So that's how Brihadaranyaka Upanishad describes Atma. न विद्यन्ते अशरीरत्वात् व्योमवद् व्यापिनो मम. He is all pervasive like space. And just as the space is not confined to a pot, etc. Although there may be a notion that there is pot space, space is confined to a pot, or circumscribed by the pot, or limited by the pot, and we call it pot space. So I think that I am limited to this body which is like a pot. I am consciousness all pervasive. Vyomad vyapino mama. I, who is all pervasive for me, there is no confinement. And therefore, confinement is there, then there is prana, then there is body, there is mind. I am devoid of all those limitations. Asparshatvaname sprushtihi. To include any other sense organs of perception, action not specifically mentioned, na sprushtihi. There is no touch in me who is devoid of the organ of touch. Ajikfatvad rasajnata. No tasting in me because I am devoid of the organ of taste. Nitya vijnana rupasya jnana ajnanena me sada. I who is nitya vijnana rupa. There is no jnanam, no jnanam. So the discussion is in a way concluded here, one aspect of discussion. Now continuing. Then, why would it say achakshustvatname drishtihi? Simply say that because I am devoid of chakshu, therefore there is no seeing. Upatti, the reasoning is given here. Yatostyan manasi vritti chashtushka ruparanjana. What is called drishti? Chakshushka ruparanjana vritti drishti. When we see something, an object such as a pot, the mind reaches out through the organ of perception, namely eyes, and contacts the object called a pot, assumes the form of the pot, and thus chakshushka vritti or chakshushi vritti. A vritti is a thought form, ruparanjana, which is of the nature of rupa, takes place, and this is called drishti. And similarly also with reference to different organs of perception, vrittis take place which has a form of that particular object, like shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha. I am not that. The drishti is, I am not the drishti, nor is drishti in me, nor am I connected to drishti, because nityameva atmano drishti nityaya drishyate hi sa. Atmana nityaya drishtya sa drishyate hi. Nityam drishyate. Because that chakshushi vritti, that thought form of the nature of pot, cloth, etc., vishayakar vritti, is drishyate, is seen, or rather illumined by, always illumined by the nitya drishti. This is the anitya drishti, which is of the form of a thought in the mind, which takes place on account of the contact with a given object, is subject to coming and going, but then that which doesn't come and go is the drishti, that is consciousness, always illumining. Chakshushi vritti, shravani vritti, the thoughts that take place because of the different organs of perception. Continuing with the verse 7, it says, so Tika says, Tathacha न दृष्ट्यादयः चिदात्मीयाः तदृश्यत्वात् यो येन दृश्यते न स तदीयः यथा रूपादिः इति. A simple logic is given, anumanam or logic is given, reasoning. तथा to illustrate, दृष्ट्यादयः न चिदात्मीयाः, दृष्ट्यादयः, दृष्टि etc., meaning the chakshushi vritti, shravani vritti, a vritti, a thought form taking place on account of the contact of the respective object through a given sense organ, which is what you call drishti, shruti, mati, etc. न चिदात्मीया न दृष्ट्या दृष्ट्यादयः चिदात्मीयाः. They are not chidat. Chit means consciousness. They do not belong to I, the self who is consciousness. I am not those drishtis, nor the drishti, the thoughts belong to me. Neither I am a seer, nor seeing takes place in me. Why? Tad drishyatvat. Because the vritti is called seeing. Our drishya are illumined by the consciousness that is I, by chit. So what? Yo yena drishyate nasa tadiyaha. So that which is seen by one, that doesn't belong to one. What I see, you should say that I am not in fact really. The pot etc. that I see, I am not. The drashta is different from drishyam. No, you can say this is mine because ahankara is also not there and mamakara also cannot be there. The ahankara is due to identification with the upasi, and mamakara comes because of the relation that aham has with something. Then the part can be mine provided there is I, ahankara. Yatha rupadihi. Since rupa etc. are seen by me, therefore I am not there, nor do they belong to me. Siddham atma dushyadi rahityena suddhatvadi iti abhipretya atmana dushyadi rahityena. In this manner, by this reasoning, it's clear that I am the witness of drishti, shruti, mati, vijnati. I am not drishti, nor the drishti is mine. Iti. In this manner, atmana drishyadi rahityena. Since atma or I is devoid of the drishti, etc., therefore, shuddhatvadi siddham, therefore that I am ever pure, is thus established even logically. So Shruti, Yukti is given here. Later Shruti also will be given. Devipretya chakshudvaraka vrittau uktanyayam vrityantareshu atidishadi. Nyayam, same logic or reasoning is now extended to other thought forms. Chakshu Dvaraka Vritta Ukta Nyaya. The Nyaya, the reason, the logic that is stated here with reference to Chakshushi Vritti is extended to other Vrittis also. Kathayati. So, verse 7 says, Tathanyendriya yuktaya vrittayo vishayanjanaha smriti ragadi rupa cha kevalantarmanasyapi. तथा अन्येन्द्रिय युक्ताः या वृत्तयः. तथा similarly या वृत्तयः, those thoughts or the vrittis अन्येन्द्रिय युक्ताः. The different kinds of thoughts are there, that we are talking about particular thoughts taking place on account of the respective sense organs. So Vishayakar vritti is what we are talking about. Other vrittis are also there, that will be also included. So one class of the thoughts that take place on our mind are the thoughts corresponding to the respective objects out there. So whenever I contact an object out there, ghata, pata, etc., then a corresponding thought form takes place. That's how cognition takes place. Vishayanjanaha means Vishayopadikaha, Vishayakaraha ityavat. Because it is the nature of mind to take the form of the object with which it comes in contact. Like you pour molten metal, into a mold. That metal takes that form, so every object like ghata, pata becomes like a mold. And mind is as a pour, and therefore the mind takes that form. And therefore the cognition of that particular object takes place. So it's called Vishayanjanaha. So Vishayaranjanaha, Anjanaha, same thing. Vishayakara ityavat. So tatha anyendriya yuktaha ya vritte Vishayanjanaha. Na atmiyaha. They also do not belong to me. I am not them. Just as Chakshushi vritti I am not, similarly also all other vrittis, corresponding vrittis that take place on account of the contact of the sense objects through respective sense organs, that also I am not. So drishti I am not, shruti also I am not, mati also I am not, sprushti I am not, etc. Another class of thoughts that take place without the contact with the objects. Smriti ragadirupa cha na kevala antar manasi api. So thoughts that take place only in the mind, kevala, without the context, says yas kevala chakshuradi dvara nirapeksha. So thoughts also take place without any association or contact with the sense objects, such as memory, such as raga, attachment, aversion, and so many thoughts do take place, kama, sankalpa, etc. So they all take place without the contact with the object in the present. The memory would be the result of the contact in the past, but right now there is no contact. So also raga, dvesha, kama, krodha, etc. all these different vrittis take place in the mind. They take place because of the samskaras or the impressions stored in the mind, and that's how they take place. So one set of vrittis, the thoughts, take place because of contact with the sense objects. Other set of thoughts take place because of the latent impressions in the mind when they become manifest. So they were called antar manasi, sharirantarvartini chitte. Antah means what? Sharirantarvartini. Manasi means chitte, the mind that exists within the body. Smriti, raga adirupa, memory, raga, attachment, etc. Sapi, puroktaya, atmadushtya, dushyate. They are also not I, they are also my memory, doesn't belong to me, to Atma. Belongs to Ahankara, but not to Atma. So when I say I here, it is meant that, so Chit Jyoti, as he said earlier, pure awareness that I am. Usually Ahankara is what I call I, and then all these thoughts belong to me, they are mine, and then they impact me, creating different kinds of reactions in me, of Sukha Dukkha, etc. But as far as I, the consciousness, Nitya Shuddha is concerned, there is no contact at all, no association. And the reason is that I am the illuminator of those, and not even the seer, illuminator. In my presence, all these thoughts get illuminated, and therefore the illuminator is totally free from what is illuminated. Kincha swapnavasthayam vidyamana manah parinarupa vishayaka vruttah so vidyamanaha manah parinarupaha vishayakaraha vruttah. Now talking about the dream, where this is very clear. In the waking state, it may or may not be very clear that I am the illuminator of these vrittis. But then when I wake up, then when I review the dream, then it's very clear. Swapna avasthaya vidyama manah parinarupaha vishayakaraha vruttah. In the dream also similar setup is there. And similar transaction takes place in the dream also. The transaction between the subject and the object, where the mind and through the sense organs become the connecting link. Although the whole world is outside, the objects are outside. What connects me with those objects are the sense organs and the mind. So in the dream also a similar setup obtains, except that there is no contact with the tangible objects of the world. The objects in the dream are just projected by the mind, imagined by the mind. This is what I recognize when I wake up. I do not see that while I am dreaming. When I wake up, I see that fact. Swapnavasthayam vidyamanaha manah parinarupaha vishayakaraha vruttah. There are also vruttah, the thought form, vishayakaraha, of the form of the object. Manah parinarupaha, which are the modifications of the mind, or state of mind. A vritti is the state of mind, a thought is the state of mind. So there I am aware of that. The dreamer is aware of all of them. Tatah vyatiriktaseva drashtu drishyaha yatha sampradhyut. This is accepted, sampradipannaha. This is accepted by everybody. That all the dream objects and dream thoughts are known, or the dreamer is aware of the dream objects and dream thought. Therefore the dreamer is different from those things. Tha jagadrushyapi drishyatvat svedriktasev drashtu drishyaha. Similarly, the waking objects, drishyaha, they are also, because they are drishya, they are objectified, therefore the drashta is separate from them. Or they are objectified by the subject, or the drashta, the seer, and then that's why I am not them. So next verse is Manasyastadvadanyasya Drishyante swapna vrittaya दृष्टुदृष्टिस्ततो नित्या शुद्धानन्ता च केवला. मानस्य तद्वत् अन्यस्य स्वप्नवृत्तयः दृश्यन्ते. मानस्य स्वप्नवृत्तयः अन्यस्य साक्षिणः दृश्यन्ते. This is sampadipannam. So this is accepted by everybody. That manasya swapna vrittaya. The thought forms which are mental thought forms or mental modifications of the dream, anyasya sakshana drishyante. It is well known that they are all seen, objectified by the sakshi, the witness, the thought forms in the dream. दृश्यत्वेन विपरिवर्तन्ते इत्यर्थः. So they are drishya and therefore they keep on coming and going for the sakshi. So manasya tadvat anyasya swapnavruttaya anyasya drishyante. Similarly, all the mental thought forms and dream are seen by someone other than those thoughts which is subject, which is self. Subject and object, difference. Tadvat jagrata shesha. Similarly also in the waking state, the subject is different from the thoughts which are in the waking state. Saradrushtinam kudastha drishtivasyatve siddhe. Saradrushtinam says all seeing, hearing, walking, talking, eating, thinking, believing, knowing, remembering. All of these are kutastha drishti-bhasyatve. All of these thoughts are bhasyatve, illumined by the kutastha, changeless self or consciousness. Siddhe. So by reasoning, the established that in waking also the subject, there is consciousness, is different from all these thoughts which are objects. And therefore, second line of 8 verses, drashtu drushtihi tato nitya shuddha ananta cha kevala. So drashtuhu drushtihi, the seeing of the seer which is nothing but consciousness. Because the seeing in the primary sense is the thought form of the mind. It is the mind or that Vishayakara vritti that actually objectifies the Vishaya. But in as much as the mind and sense organs, all of them are unconscious by nature, therefore is consciousness I that enlivens them, therefore they can perform their functions. In that sense, you can say that I, the changeless consciousness, is the real drashti, shruti, mati, vijnati. Either call it real or because with the drashti, shruti, all darshanam, saravanam takes place. So in a secondary sense, the consciousness can be called seer, hearer, thinker, knower, etc. But drashtuhu drishtihi nitya tata. Therefore, the drishti, the seeing of the seer, of the Atma, is nitya. The anitya drishti, that is what from the mind, nitya drishti, that is the consciousness. Shuddha, all the shuddhis, whatever they belong to sense objects and the mind, and the one, the I, the illuminate of the mind, is untouched by them, untainted by them, therefore, nitya, shuddha, ever pure. Ananta, endless, or limitless, because all limitations also are objectified, they are also aware of the anta of the limitation, the time, place, object, and therefore, ananta drishtihi. What is my nature? So, nitya drishti, consciousness, that is nitya. Eternal, shuddha, ever pure, and Ananta, the endless or limitless. Kevala, ever pure, non-dual. Kutastha chet atma-drishti ishta. If you say atma-drishti, the drishti, the consciousness that I am, is ever pure, ever changeless, limitless. If this is what is desired, this is what the reasoning says, katham tatra anyatha pratha. Even though limitlessness is by nature by its reasoning, in reality, why do I take myself limited? Even though ever purity is my nature, why do I take myself impure, limited? I am just a very conscious presence, and why do I take myself to be a real seer, hearer, thinker, and then suffer? By taking myself to be, looking upon myself in this way, judging myself this way, is the cause of all suffering. Kasam tatra anyatha pratha. How come this conscious self is well known in a different way? Iti ashankya vrittis. We are going to lesson number 1, in fact. This is 101 in, Vedanta 101, this is what this is. After Vedanta 900, so the author keeps going up and down and up and down, Anyway, whatever be the reason here. But then, Vrittimad Antahkarana Avivekat. It is because of the Aviveka, the inability to distinguish the consciousness from the thought. And just as the fire and air appear, identity, because of identity become one or look one, so also the Atma and the mind, they become Atma, become identified, takes the form of the mind and looks as good, bad or different as the mind. Aviveka. Not that there is identification, by the way. Identity also is the model. Not that Atma is identified, Atma has become anything. But as though, had Atma been consciousness, been identified, like the fire becomes identified iron in a primary sense. That the primary identification is not there, it is not become, not taken the form really. Just as a crystal appears to be orange or red, so Atma appears to be colored by those thoughts. An inability to separate the crystal from the color, one may conclude that the crystal is colored. Similarly, due to inability to distinguish Atma or consciousness from the mind, looks like the consciousness is limited by the mind of this form of the mind. So aviveka. Aviveka means inability to separate or distinguish one from the other. And therefore they are taken to be one. So 9th verse says, Anitya sa vishuddheti Gruhyate tra vivekatah Sukhi dukhi tatha chaham Drishyayopadibhutaya Anityasa avishuddha iti chedaha. Because this a is elided here and therefore we do not know it's there also. The Tikakara says Anityasa avishuddha. Now it is printed, therefore the Avagraha Chinna is there, so we know. Otherwise when you hear this Anityasa avishuddha ashuddheti, you would not know whether I is there or not. Anityasa avishuddhayati gruhyate atra vivekatah. Avivekata, because of the inability or absence of viveka or distinction. The nitya drishti is taken as nitya. Earlier verse, drashtu drishti tato nitya. That nitya is taken as anitya. Shuddha is taken as avishuddha. Ananta is taken to be antavan, antavati. And therefore, all are avivekata. उपाधिभूतया दृश्या दृष्ट्या सविवेकतः विवेक अग्रहात् अत्र व्यवहारभो सा नित्या शुद्धा च आत्मदृष्टि अनित्या विशुद्धा च इति गृह्यते इति योजना. And further, so what does that do? सुखी दुखी तथा चाहम दृश्यया उपाधिभूतया तथा हम सुखी दुखी इति च मन्यते इति उत्तर श्लोक गतेन अन्वयः. So then this one is to be taken with the next verse. The second line is to be taken that similarly I take myself as sukhi, dukhi, upadhibhutaya drishyaya. Sukha is the upadhi. Sukham is the nature of the mind which is drishyam, and on account of not being able to distinguish the subject from the object, I take myself as sukhi. So sukha belongs to mind and I am the witness, and both of them are lumped together. So sukhi dukhi. So in the next verse, aviveka nibandhanat mithyabhimanadeva samsara prapti sphutayati. Samsara prapti. Aviveka nibandhanat, because aviveka. Mithya, which causes mithya, because causes false notion. First what takes place is the lack of distinguishing Atma from the mind. And therefore there is as though identification of mind, therefore I become as much as the mind. Mithya abhimanam means a self-notion. Notion about oneself. I am so and so, which notion is born because of the identification of the mind, which is mithya, false notion. Samsara prapti. This false notion about oneself is what causes the samsara. Sukha, dukkha, karma, karmaphala, janma, mrityu, etc. Yuktam, eva sphutayati, already stated. Krushete atra, what was said in 9th verse is further clarified here in the 10th verse. Mudhaya mudha ityevam shuddhaya shuddha ityapi manyate sarvalokoyam yena samsara mrichyate. So mudaya vrittya mudoham iti. Vritti has a form of the moha, or vritti is mudha, then I take myself as mudha. Similarly, sukhi dukhi. Vritti is sukhakara, aisa ham sukhi. Vritti is dukhakara, aisa ham dukhi. That's called aviveka, which brings about the identification mithya. So this is mithya abhimana. This is a false notion of sukhi, is a false notion about myself. Dukhi, false notion about myself. Call it notion, conclusion, self-judgment. Puja Swami used to use these words, self-judgment, notions about oneself. Mudhaya. So sattvic, sukhi, rajasi, dukhi, tamasi, mudha. So mudhaya ityevam shuddhaya shuddha ityapi. And the vritti is shuddha, then I take myself as shuddha. So this mithya abhimanam, shuddhoham, sukhiyaham, dukkhiyaham, mudhoham, this is the cause of samsara. Because moment I declare myself Sukhi, Dukhi or Mudha, the notion of limitedness is always associated with every conclusion like this. And limitedness in every way. Sukhi, Dukhi, I find myself limited, first of all, separated from everybody else. A sense of separatedness is there because I call myself Sukhi. Look upon myself as good as or as big as this mind and therefore separate from everything else, other minds, other bodies, other self. So first of all, sense of separatedness, isolation, and further then, because Sukha, Dukkha are all thought forms and therefore extremely limited in time, place and condition, therefore separatedness arises, isolation arises, and a sense of limitedness arises. Sense of insignificance arises. Therefore, all kinds of self-judgment where I look down upon myself. I don't respect myself. Even if I declare myself to be great and successful, then also the limitedness is always there. Because their success, etc., are all born of some comparison with something, some arbitrary criteria which is subject to change. Therefore, even when I declare myself as successful, as great, there is discomfort always associated with that because I am not comfortable even with the successful self that I see myself to be. That's why I don't stay long with that. I want to change again. First become more successful, etc. So all of this causes self-discomfort. Discomfort within myself, restlessness within myself, dissatisfaction within myself, dislike about myself, hatred of that, then build up into all sorts of things. And all kinds of complexes are thus created in me. A simple self becomes very complex self. I become a samsari. And whatever I do will be only done by a samsari, therefore it will perpetuate samsara. That is how insecurity is caused, that is how selfishness is caused. It's nobody's fault. When I am limited, insecure, I need to secure myself, therefore I might have to fend for myself. I have to protect myself, I have to project myself, I have to prove myself. So proving myself, projecting myself, etc. is constantly going on without thinking. This is all built in. We have to recognize, looking at our thoughts, and we have to recognize how these things are built in there. I don't deliberately do things. I'm not a deliberately self-centered person or insecure person. I find myself to be one habitually. Habitually insecure, therefore habitually self-centered, habitually defending myself, ninja, fighting constantly. This is all samsara. So, मिथ्याभिमान संसार प्राप्ति ही इति उक्तम. मन्यते सर्वलोकोयम येन संसारम रुच्छति. Sarvaloka, whoever is born with this habitual error, born of ignorance. Samsaram rucchati, and therefore gains or attains, falls into samsara, in this chain of cause and effect, birth and death, etc. Katham tari samsara nivritti. See, that is why it's important to understand the cause of why we are feeling the way we are feeling. Why we are feeling the way we are feeling about ourselves, then comes feeling about others. So why do I feel like this about myself? I usually assign the reason to somebody else, but then that is why Vedanta says that the cause is within me. I am not the cause. There is no other cause other than ignorance and aviveka and mithyabhimana. Ignorance causes aviveka, that causes mithyabhimana, false notions, and when that happens, then everything else follows. Katham tari samsara nivrutti. Aviveka causes samsara, so viveka is the answer. Ita apekshayam tudupayam bruvan. So now the teacher tells us what's the upaya, the means of becoming free from samsara. Mumuksham shikshayati. So teaches, gives upadesha to the mukshu. Achakshushkadi iti. So next verse is Achakshushkadi shastracha. No. Achakshushkadi shastroktam sabahya bhyantaram tvajam nityam muktamihatmanam mumukshuschet sada smaret. So very compassionately the teacher says to Mumukshu, how you should perceive yourself, how you should look at yourself. Habitually you look at yourself as an individual, separate from everybody else, as limited, as insecure, as sukhi dukhi. How should you see yourself? Achakshushkadi shastra uktam sabahya tu ajam. So two quotations are meant here. One is from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, which we read several times earlier. Arasam, agandham, achakshushkam. Because achakshuštva, that is how the text began, this chapter. Therefore, but it says arasam, agandham, achakshushkam, ashrotram, avag, amanah. That's the Shastra. So achakshushkari shastranoktam. Then aprano hyamana shubhrah yaksharat. So divyo jamutaf purushah sababhyah bhyantaro hyajah. So that's the Mundaka Upanishad. Divyo hyamurtah purushah sabahya bhyantara ajah. That's the other statement. So sabahya bhyantaram tu ajam. Nityamuktam ihatmanam mukshuschet sada smared. Mukshuschet, this is told to mumukshu. Meaning that one who can understand this whole scheme or whole pattern. And so one who can see how various conclusions about myself are arising. One who can see that a given conclusion about myself is arisen because of a given identification. Mithyabhimanam, self-notion, is identifying with this aspect of my personality, that I am a drashta, identifying with the drishti. Shrota, manta, vijnata, karta, bhokta, sukhi, dukhi. A man, woman, tall, short, all of these, how do each one of the one is able to see this fact, that this notion or conclusion about myself has arisen on account of this identification. Then we can say, this is a result of identification. Achakshushkadi shastroktam, but I am a chakshu. Avak, avanaha. Therefore, and then samahya bhyantaraha, I am simultaneously within and without, meaning without, devoid of within and without. I am formless. Purusha avahya. So divyo hyamurta, amurta, formless I am. Ajam abhakhyabhyantaro savakhyabhyantaro hyajah ajah. I am birthless. Swatmanam uktarupam sadasmared. This way, this is how the mumukshu should remind oneself. Think about oneself. Even if you do not see this fact, but I can remind myself, achakshuskoham, avagaham, amanaham, arasoham, etc. Sabhakya bhyantaroham, ajoham. That way this becomes a patipaksha bhavana for neutralizing the notion that has arisen, habitually. So habitual bondage has to be overcome by a deliberate viveka. Habitual aviveka brings about these notions about the self, and therefore a deliberate viveka is required. That's what a mumukshu is being, taught here. Shrutyacharyo vadishtam anavartam anusandadhita iti yojana sada smared nityamuktam iha atmanam mukshu chet sada smared. If he is mukshu, then nityamuktam atmanam. Then I am nityamukta. How? Shrutyacharyo vadishtam. Muksha means one who is doing shravanam, mananam, nididhyasanam. Therefore, Shrutyacharyo upadishtam. So what is upadishtam? What is taught by Shruti and Acharya? Anavartam anusandadhita. Constantly may the mukshu deliberate upon one's own self in keeping what the scripture says. We habitually think about ourselves based on what the habit says, what ignorance says, what the identification says. Therefore, bring the mind to what the scripture says, what the Shruti and the Acharya says. So this is the Pratipaksha Bhavana that one should constantly practice. Yet Atma Chakshuradilahityam Prak Siddhaduktam Tatra Pramanamaha. So, Achakshustvan me drushti, because I am a chakshu, therefore there is no drushti. You just stated there, Siddhavat, as though it is already proven. That is how it was stated. But now, the reasons were given, of course, that because I am the drashta or the witness of the drishti, therefore I am not there. So, Upapatti was given. Yukti was given, now Shruti is being given. Tatra pramanamaha. So achakshushkadi shastrati. Next verse is achakshushkadi shastracha nendriyani sada mama aprano shamana shubhra iti cha atharvanam vachah. Achakshushkari shastracha, that passage that we just read, aprano hyamanaha shubhra iti cha atharvanam vachah, from the Mundaka Upanishad, which we also quoted. Na indriyani sada mama. Indriyani sada na mama. These indriyas, I have no relation with that. Basically, I have no relation with the mind, I have no relation with sense organ, no relation with prana or body, with anything. Although I seem to be related and identified one with them, so it looks like, but this is what Shastra says. So that is how the pramanam. Now the pramanam is that which calls for shraddha on my part. Shastra says you are achakshuhu. And my mind says I am chakshuhu, I am drashta. Shastra says that you are a chakshu, there is no drashti. You are just drishti swarupa, rishi swarupa. Then, looking upon Shastra Pramana means I trust that What the Shastra says is what I am. And that is how I question what my mind says. Otherwise my mind keeps on saying, I am Drashta, I am Shrota, I am Manta, I am Vijnata, I am Sukhi, Dukhi. And I never subject these conclusions to any kind of reasoning. But now that in light of what the Shastra, the Upanishad says, then the reasoning comes that I am the Drashta, I am aware of these things. So Chakshuskam, Ashrotram, Avag, Amanaityadina, Udharanyake, Yatha Atmaswaramuktam. Now it is quoted, 388. Tatha Mundakevi, Aprano Hyamana. That is quoted right here. Aprano Hyamana Shubhra iti, Mundaka Upanishad 212. Then further, so that is how the Shruti, Yukti, both of them are to be used, to be employed here in order to see the fallacy of Anubhava. The fallacy of my present conclusion as to what I am, in order to see the fallacy of these conclusions, I go to Shruti and Acharya, I go to reasoning that is presented by them. That's how Upayam. So this Upaya, Samsara Nivritti Upayam. Then continue with the next one. Atmana Nirvisheshatve Shrutyantaram Udaharati. That Atma, the self, I am Nirvishesha, devoid of all attributes. Shrutyantaram, another Shruti is being Udaharati is quoted here. Shabdadinamati. Shabdadinam abhavascha Shruyate mama kathake Aprano Hyamana yasmat Avikari sada hyaham. Katake mama shabdadena avascha shruyate. In Kathopanishad also, that I am devoid of shabda sparsha is very clearly stated, that shruyate shrutya pratipadyate. This is what the Shruti in fact teaches us. Reveals. So Tika quotes there, Ashabdam, Asparsham, Arupam, Avyayam, Tatharasam, Nityamagandavachayat, Anadyanantam, Mahatah Paramdhram, Nichayadam, Mutyamukhat, Pramuchyate, Idi Kathake Shruyate. So Tam, the one who is, that who is, Ashabdam, devoid of Shabda, Asparsham, devoid of Sparsha. So Shabda means Shrotrendriya. Shabda means also the object, Shabda, and therefore also the Indriya, the corresponding Indriya, Shrotrendriya. So I am devoid of Shrotrendriya. Sparshendriya Shabdam, Arupam Chakshurindriya, Avyayam changeless, Arasam Rasanendriya, Agandavaccha Granendriya, Avyayam Nityam. So that the truth which is Avyayam, which is Nityam, Ashabdam, Asparsham, Arupam, Arasam, Agandham. Anadi, Anantam, which is no Adi, no end, it's eternal. Mahatah Param, greater than even Mahat, Dhruvam, changeless, Nichayatam, knowing that Nutyamukhat Pramuchyate, one becomes liberated from the jaw of the death, becomes immortal. Iti. Iti Kathake Shruyate. Uktam Pramanam Anudhya. See, earlier was already said in the second line, Aprano Hyamana Shubhra. Anudya, that is reiterated again. So next time, aprano hyamana yasmad. What was stated in the second line of the previous verse, again stated here. Yasmad aprano hyamanaha. Since I am devoid of the prana and the mind, therefore, avikari sadahi aham. Therefore, I am ever avikari, ever changeless. I am free from modification. I am imperishable. So, etad achakshushkadapi upalakshanam. Aprana, amanaha, achakshushkam, achakshushka, etc. All of that also follows here. Avikari nischaya phalamaha. If I am avikari in this manner, so what does that knowledge or conclusion or ascertainment bring about? So, vikshepaha. Vikshepo nasti tasman me na samadhistato mama vikshepo va samadhirva manassasyad vikarinah. Tasmat, vikshepo nasti tasmat in second. So tasmat avikaritvat, because avikari, because I am changeless, I am ever constant, of the same nature. Therefore, vikshepo nasti, tranquility is my nature. There is no vikshepa. Vikshepa or the distraction belongs to mind, doesn't belong to me. Tasman mena samadhi, therefore there is no samadhi or concentration also for Atma. For mind, of course, there is vikshepa, and for mind, the concentration as sadhana, they are all fine. But in the knowledge of the self, I know that there is no distraction in me, therefore there is no question of again concentration in me. Vikshepa va samadhirva manasasyad vikarinah. Vikshepa also belongs to mind, which is vikari, changing. Samadhi, concentration, also belongs to mind. I, who is avikari, they do not belong to me. So, vikshepo nasti tasman mina samadhi tatah. Tatah means what? Vikshep abhavat. So, avikaritvat mama me vikshepo nasti. Because I am avikari, I am modificationless, changeless, therefore there is no vikshepa or distraction. There is no restless in me, therefore there is no samadhi also. Tataha. Because of lack of vikshepa, there is no question of concentration. Vikshep nivritti rupatvat samadhi. What is samadhi? Is freedom from vikshepa. When there is no vikshepa, the question of samadhi in Atma does not arise. Kasya tari samadhi vikshepo iti. Then where is samadhi, where is concentration, where is the distraction? Vikaravatah, they are there in that which is subject to vikara or modification. Avikana tadabhavam dharayate vikshepo va samadhirva manasasyat vikarinah. Therefore vikshepa or samadhi belong to mind, which is vikari. They cannot be, they are not in I. So recognize this. So this is now teaching continuing as to how I should look upon myself, think of myself. So that is what is being continued here. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।